The next video I'm going to show you is going to illustrate how to do windows, holes, doors, that kind of thing, any openings. So if you look at a specific side, and I'm going to zoom into one of these squares so we can really get a nice shot of what I'm doing here. Okay, so if I wanted to put a door here, okay, it's going to be using the vertical lines, but since the door exists in this plane, it's going to follow the same rules as whatever's going on with these sides. So if I was to make a side that faces me, let's say, and if I was to draw a door, it would go like this. It would be in that, it would use the same horizontal and vertical lines to kind of go along with the structure there, okay? But this is on an angle, or giving the illusion of an angle. So you're going to still use, I'm going to just draw it very lightly, we're still going to go with those vertical lines, but instead of the top of the door being horizontal, it's going to go to that vanishing point, because that's also going to have an illusion of depth. Okay. Now, if I wanted to make this look like, you know, there's a bit of, you can see a wall or something like that, like if I wanted this to look like a tunnel, if you remember, we would take any corners on this side of this corner, like this, I'm calling this a corner, and this is the closest to you in this two-point perspective. This is giving the illusion that this is closer. Whatever corners you have to the left that you can use, you're going to connect to the right. Any ones on the right that you can use, you're going to take those lines and take them to the left. So if it's just a square, you know, four-sided figure, you wouldn't use this corner, because again, it's, unless you wanted it to be made out of glass, you wouldn't see that line. But there is some negative space. Now this is all positive space. This shape here, this is all solid. But here, this is a hole. So you do have corners that you can consider. Now this corner, if I wanted this to look like there was a hole at the bottom of the, underneath here, then I would use those lines. But I want that to look like a solid plank, solid floor. But I will use that corner. Once I hit something solid, I stop. I'm not going to see that anymore. So now this should give the illusion that there is a ceiling and an inside wall. Okay, so that's the ceiling of inside, and that's the wall. Okay, if I wanted to make a window, same kind of thing. Again, you're still going to have vertical lines, but now instead of the top and the bottom of the window being horizontal, they're going to go to, where is it? That vanishing point. It's going to follow the same rules as that side. So whatever you decide to make here, if it's part of this wall, it's going to follow the same rules. Similarly, if I wanted a bracket coming down, I would probably bring it a little closer to the back edge here, because, you know, as this wall goes to the vanishing point, as it goes back, it's getting smaller. So this part of the window would be a little smaller than this part of the window. So that's why I moved it in a little bit. Now, the brace that goes across, it's going to be in the middle, but it's going to not be horizontal. It's going to go to that vanishing point. Okay. There's a window. And I can leave it alone, make it look like a paned window if I want, but if I wanted it to have a, look like it has a bit of depth here, and make it like a frame or a jamb, a window jamb. So something like this. Okay, so if you add any of these elements, the same rules apply. All right, everything goes to this vanishing point, or this vanishing point, depending on where those spaces are. Nothing is going to be horizontal unless it's absolutely in the middle, okay? Last one, what if I wanted to make a hole here, like a trapdoor? So any lines that are going to go along here are going to go to that vanishing point. Any lines that are in this direction are going to go to that vanishing point. So you're going to have something like this. Okay? So the two lines here are going to both go to that vanishing point. And the two lines here are going to go to that vanishing point. So you may say, how can you make this more like a hole? Well, this is a hole, and you might, there's a back corner. This represents the back corner. It's still a flat piece of paper, but this is kind of like the back corner. Take the back corner, and if I draw a line going up, it should sort of look like a hole. Now I'm just shading it to kind of illustrate it further, what it would kind of be like, but we're going to talk about shading another time. Okay, so we have a door, a hole. All right, so you can review this video as you need to, but that's doors, windows, openings. One last thing, if you wanted to consider making something sort of round, like imagine like a circle. Now you wouldn't draw just a circle. If I was to make a circle in a square or on a space, here's my square, and if I was to make a circle, I would follow the center and just kind of make these curves hitting the corners, or hitting the center of those lines, okay? Whereas if it was on an angle like this, it would be more of like an ellipse. So if I wanted to make a circular opening here, I would still have my verticals, like that, but I would have these lines going to the vanishing point. Okay? So just like how I have this circle here, I would get sort of the center, what I think is the center here, maybe a little closer to the back, and then here's the center here, and so when you make your circle here, it's more going to be like an ellipse. So your shape is going to be elongated and stretched out. All right? That's it.